Hey folks, Bobby here today. Hey guys, today I want to show you, I want to take you along with me as we finish up our water repair on our well pump system, okay? So a few months ago, we were out of town. My dad was up here checking on things for us, realized that we did not have any water. Come to find out, we had a broke electrical line underground between our well tank here and our house, okay? So for the last couple months, if you'll look down here, we've actually been running our well pump off of a number 10 gauge drop cord, okay, above ground. And now, over the course of the last several days, my and I have dug a trench, and we have buried a new piece of number 10 gauge underground type electrical wire inside a conduit, and we ran a new water line as well. So stay tuned, and we'll just talk a little bit about what we've done here, and we'll kind of take you through the final repairs that we're doing today. Okay, folks, so here's our water tank, and here's the ground where we've actually recovered after we dug an 18-inch trench to run our conduit, electrical wire. We also ran a new water pipe as well. Now we'll actually be graduating up to the original connection, which was only about probably 8 inches underground up in this corner, but that's the way they done things 40 years ago when this house was built. So we are going to graduate up through this bed right here, make our connections. We're going to do an electrical connection underground, and we'll show you what kit we got to do that with, and hopefully we won't have any problems with it. Out here, as we were digging, we found that we were filling up our trench with water. So we actually had a water line that was busted underground as well. So that's why we went ahead and ran a new water pipe as well. And then problem number 3, we realized that our tank here had gone bad. This one here was only about 6 years old. You may have noticed we had another video on this channel where we showed us replacing this 6 years ago. I'm a little disappointed with the time frame that it lasted, but you know, things are what they are these days, and we're going to be actually replacing it with another Water Worker brand 20-gallon tank today. So we're going to kind of take you through all this process. We're going to talk about what we did. Real quickly, just up through the concrete pad here, you can see that there's a piece of the electrical wire is definitely in conduit all the way underground. The water line, we did not put it in conduit. It is the underground type water line, but right here through the concrete, we did put a piece of conduit around it just so it wouldn't rub up against the concrete. And we're going to fill this whole void here with a foam, spray foam, and then we'll fill the end of our electrical wire here with silicone. Okay, we'll fill it with silicone so it makes a really nice seal on this end as well. So, okay, so let's get to work. We're going to get this tank out of the way, and we'll continue on. Okay, folks, a couple things I'm getting ready to disconnect here. I'm going to go and take our drop cord out. I've already loosened the screws here, and I got to loosen the ground. I had this grounded to the regulator. So let me go ahead and pop this loose. So now our number 10 drop cord, we can go ahead and put it back out in the shop today. We'll be hooking up our permanent fixture here in just a little bit. So now I want to go ahead and unhook this wire from the regulator. So let me go ahead and pull these wires out as well. And guys, always make sure you flip your power off at the breaker, which we've already done. You never want to be working on any of this on a live circuit, okay? And we'll feed these wires back through out of this regulator where we can pull this whole unit out as one assembly. All right, before we do that, let's go ahead on over here while I got the camera on. I'm gonna go ahead and cut our water hose here loose. I took my clamp off, and I'm just gonna cut with a knife right here. And we'll just, typically you can take it and cut it just deep enough where it kind of breaks like that right there, and you should be able to kind of twist it right on off just like so. So now our water pipe is disconnected. and we can go ahead and we'll be hooking up our permanent pipe here in just a little bit. Okay guys, getting ready to, I'm going to bend this old wire out of the way. We're actually going to probably cut a section of that conduit off in a little while. And I'm working this out of our regulator here real carefully. I don't want to overstress these wires, but I want to leave that just like that, okay? Now let's get our new water pipe out of the way. Yeah, bring the camera up here right quick. I want to show these people. You see this big old tree here, guys? I think this was probably a lot of our problems over the years. The roots from this thing actually growing underneath our pad here and wreaking havoc on our wiring and everything. I've already got an estimate. I got a guy coming out. He's gonna bring this tree down for me in January. So we're gonna do away with this thing, and hopefully that will definitely do away with all our future well pump problems. Okay. All right. Okay, let me finish sliding this thing out of the way, and then we'll hand truck it out to the garage and switch all of this component off of this one onto another one. All right, so stay tuned and we're going to get this thing off of here. Okay, folks, I think at this time I'm just going to go ahead and tilt this whole apparatus down this way. I don't want to get it off of my pad. There we go. All right, so that's what I want to do. I want to get that off of our piece of tile, because that piece there was perfectly level. I remember I put that in 6 years ago to level up this whole level up our new tank. Okay, so let me take a break a minute, and we're gonna take this whole apparatus off of here and then put it on the new tank. Okay guys, I had to take my pipe wrench and kind of break the T loose here. I've got it broken loose, so we're gonna take this whole, keep it from rolling, son, put your foot underneath there. There you go. We're gonna take this whole apparatus off and we'll take it out to the shop, clean it up, and get it put onto the new one, okay? And so there we go, folks. Here's our piece right here. We'll take it out, clean it up, and get her hooked up. Stay tuned. Guys, what we're doing now is just cleaning up this apparatus here around this cast iron fitting here. Got a little rust over the years. I'm going to put a little bit of primer on this before we go back together with it. All this stuff here was replaced 6 years ago. This little T right here, this thing here costs about 50 bucks. One-way valve, should still be good. This is your blow-off valve, and here's your little drain. We got a 1-inch ball valve there. Gauge, we did notice our gauge was leaking, and we got a brand new one to replace. Here's our flexible stainless line, water line from the pump. So we're just kind of cleaning everything up. Put a little primer on this, and then we'll go back together. Okay, what I have here, folks, is a rust reformer primer. This will actually help convert any of this rust over into just some black primer. I guess last time when I redone this thing, I didn't really have much choice. I used a like a cast iron elbow reducer and a pipe nipple, steel pipe nipple right there. So I don't like the fact that it's rusted. Everything else is actually in brass, so don't have to worry about it. But I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of this primer on all this stuff here, so hopefully it won't rust anymore. And maybe 6 to 10 years from now, when we probably will have to do this again, maybe this will still have the nice paint on it, okay? So give me just a moment. I'll have this thing all primed up. We'll probably put a couple coats on it, and then we'll get back to reinstalling this into our new tank. Okay, we're going to go ahead and replace this old gauge, because like I said, I saw this thing leaking when we were out there testing the other day. The gauge evidently is leaking up inside. I saw water like up inside the gauge. You can see where it looks like it's got some rust around there too. So anyway, we're doing away with that bad boy, and we're going to go ahead and install a new one here today. Get some of this crud out of the way if I can, without getting it down into our water thing there. So here's our new gauge right here, and it is a Campbell brand gauge. And if we find a link to it, we'll maybe put that down below for you good folks. So what we're using here today is a pipe thread sealer. It's a Teflon base pipe dope. And we're going to put us a nice little coat here on here. You can use this, or you can use like a wrap-on Teflon tape if you wish. I've had good luck with both types. Okay. All right, so now we'll go ahead and do that, and we'll go ahead and smear it the rest of the way around my finger. Try not to get all the way down. You don't want to like gob up inside there to where it would actually get in here and keep the gauge from working properly. So from right there, we're going to start this thing. Turn it down by hand. And then we have a, let me wipe my hand off here right quick. Okay, had to get that Teflon paste off my hand, folks. So we're taking a 14mm wrench here. We're going to go ahead and snug this down so it feels good and tight. Careful not to go too crazy with it, but we want it tight enough where it don't leak. And we want it turned around facing us to where we can actually see it when we're working on this thing. So we'll turn it. That feels pretty tight right there. And I'm going to leave it just about right like that, okay? Okay, now we're going to go ahead and take this whole apparatus here, and we're going to screw it into the bottom of the tank, into the fitting that's in here. And so we're going to take the pipe dope here, just like we did on the gauge, and we're going to generously coat this very good across here. And make sure I got a plenty good coat on there. Just don't want to get any inside the pipe. But if I got a little extra on here, it's okay. All right, so there we go. Yep, there we go. We're good all the way around, I do believe. I'll just spread a little bit there with my finger, get right in there. And we should be good to go. And just be careful, don't get it inside the pipe. Okay, folks, I'm going to stick this in here and try to get it started. And I think I'm successful. Okay. Not bad for the first try. We're going to spin this sucker around until it feels pretty tight. And then we'll decide if we need to make it one more turn or not. And we're getting pretty tight right there. So we might actually have to get this down on the ground, and me and Nathaniel might have to both work together to get it to tighten on up. So stay tuned, and we'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, guys, hey, we got this thing tightened down. We actually had to, it took both of us. I had to take it down on the ground, and he had to help me hold it while we tighten this thing on down. But we definitely got it tight enough, I do believe, and we shouldn't have any leaks. We'll definitely double check that when we get everything hooked up. So let's let me catch my breath, and we're going to take it out there and get her hooked up. Okay, before we take it out, I'm going to go ahead and adjust this pressure. We're bringing the tank pressure down to 28 pounds because on this unit, we're actually using a 30 to 50 regulator. So on 30 to 50, it cuts in at 30 pounds, cuts out at 50. So you want to set your tank air pressure at 28 pounds for that unit. It says it right on the regulator cover, which we actually have out there by the well pump. But if you'll just follow the recommendations on your regulator, you'll know what to adjust yours in case yours is different. Okay, guys, back out here at the well. And actually, the first thing we want to do was the last thing that we done when we took it out. We wanted to feed this wiring harness right into the regulator. And a lot easier this time because it wasn't full of water. The tank wasn't full of water. So now we're right up there where we need to be. Go and put our little connector on here, and then we'll continue on. Okay, folks, we're going to go and hook up our water line from our well to the tank, or to this apparatus that we just attached on the front of here. I'm going to put a thin coat of pipe dope on here as well. Looks like I did that same thing last time. Although our fitting, I'll show you what kind of fitting we're using here in a minute. Don't think it really requires anything, but a little bit can't hurt. All right, so there we go. There's our pipe dope on that. And I'll show you here right quick what we used last time. It was better than what they originally done. Originally, this thing was done in PVC, and you had to like piece it together, and if you screwed up, you had to redo it all. This is a flexible stainless steel water line, kind of like what they use on hot water heaters and stuff. And this works so much better, okay? And all you gotta do, you got some flexibility, which is what I like about it. You don't have to be so perfect when you get things lined up like it was with PVC before. And then you just bring it down and tighten it down. We got an 1 3/16 wrench here, I believe is what we have. And we're just gonna go ahead and tighten this thing down. Okay folks, I'm gonna go ahead and heat up our plastic water line here. You want to get a little bit of heat into it, but not too crazy to where it melts. You just want it to be pliable enough to where it will expand up onto this bar fitting, okay? Try to move your heat around evenly if you can. You can do this with either a propane torch or a heat gun. We have both. It's a little easier getting the propane torch out here. Don't go too crazy. Just get her warmed up and then get ready to install it. Make sure you have your clamp in place and shove it all the way up into place. All right, so there we go. Allow that to cool for just a moment, and then you can put your clamp in place. Now with the clamp in place, guys, tighten it up tight as you can get with your hand. It should be good to go. Okay guys, I actually figured out we got all our electrical running this conduit like I showed you, but what I'm gonna do, I found this water pipe here. I'm gonna kind of continue on my conduit here, like so, okay? So I actually kind of made a little extension of my electrical conduit, and what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna worry so much about up in this area. I'm gonna fold this around, and we're gonna shove it right in here and make our connections. So we'll have actually like a conduit all the way up to about this area right in here. And so I feel even a little bit better about that. Actually, I could shorten it just a little bit. I might do that. I might just shorten it so it's not up against the tank. So let me do that right quick. And or I might be able to just shove it down further. Yep, there we go. That's all I gotta do. Shove it down just a little bit further. And then I'm gonna round my cable around like so. I'm gonna run it right into the old piece of conduit. I cut it off. I like the way this actually fits into this better. And then we'll make our other two connections, and that'll be our electrical completed. And like I say, we're gonna go back at silicone up here with 100% silicone, and we're gonna fill this void here up with spray foam, okay? We'll do that probably tomorrow. Okay, we got 3 of our wires here stripped. We're gonna go ahead and shove it on in. See if we can get this to go through. And some stiff old wire here, guys, so it'll be a little tough to deal with. I had to get my pliers to help me out a little bit. So let's see what we can do here. I want to bring this on out as far as I can. If I'm too long, I can always cut a little off. So let me bring all 3 of these on through this conduit as far as I can, okay? And that's pretty good right there, okay? Now, on this end, like I say, we'll do the same thing down here. We'll take silicone and we'll shove some around here. We'll kind of make that seal up a little bit. And then we got a little extra here in case we ever have to rewire or something, you know, and hopefully we won't ever have to do that again. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go and make these connections. This white wire will go right here beside this black wire, and this black wire here will go right over here, and our ground wire will go right down here onto the regulator itself. So let me make all these connections, and then we'll move on to making our other connections near the house. All right, guys, we're hooked up. We put our cap back on and everything. So we're going to head on over here to the house. We got to make an underground electrical connection and a water connection, and we will have water. All right. Okay, guys, we're up here at our water line at our house. Bring the camera right on over here. And I want to show you something, folks. This here is actually how they done this 40 something years ago. Notice that we're only about 8 to 12 inches below ground. They had the electrical run in no conduit, just right beside the main pipe. Okay, that's the way they done things back then, and I guess it worked out all right. It lasted 40 something years. So what we're going to do is make a connection right here with our water pipe, because you see the little cut right here. When I was digging down trying to find this, I actually hit that with the corner of my shovel, and it's not leaking, but I'm a little worried about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it right here. And while you're watching me, I'm gonna take a pair of loppers. I'm gonna hold it up there as square as I know how. I'm go ahead and cut that pipe. Okay. So now we've cut that section that had the little cut in it from my shovel, and we won't have to worry about that no more. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go and make this water connection, and then we'll move on to the electrical connection. Okay guys, we got our barb in here. We got a hose clamp on this side. We're going to get a little bit of heat on here, and then we're going to shove this thing right on into place. We want to go all the way to right there, the midway point. Remember, kind of don't go too crazy with the heat. And you want to kind of heat all angles of it if you can. Give a little heat here, like so. I'm going to set our torch down a second. Oh, I'm going to end up sitting it down that way. So here we go, and there we go, folks. We're all the way in. Daniel reached over to cut my thing off for me. So notice we're all the way in right there. I'm going to take my nut driver right to the center, and we're going to go ahead and tighten this clamp down. Yeah, be careful when you do this. Don't get too crazy with the heat, or you will melt the plastic. And when you go to shove it on, the plastic would just fold up like melted cheese or whatever. You know, you don't want to do that. So go ahead and get that tight. And now we're going to go ahead and make that other connection. Okay guys, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and heat this one up. We got our clamp in place. This one's in place. Heat this up right in here, and then reach down here and shove this together. And when I hand you, be ready to grab this from me, okay? But don't set me on fire while you're trying to film, okay? All right, get a leaf out of the way before it catches on fire. Okay, go down the side here the best we can. We'll go down this side here the best we can, folks. Do a little heat here. A little heat right there. And let's see what it does. Hold this, please. Hold that. Fast. Oh, there we go. She's together. Okay, can you see that? Put the camera on there. All right, guys, we're done. That's a good. I think we're got a good splice here. We will definitely know. Before we cover any of this up with dirt, I will definitely let it sit for 24 hours. I want to make sure we don't even have the slightest drip. I don't want nothing. I want it to be perfect, or we don't have no water leaks in the future. And I will show you what we will do with this right here. We're going to gob this up with silicone after we've let it sit for 24 hours. And then we'll wrap a plastic bag around it, and that'll help shield our clamps. I know they're made out of stainless steel, but I would feel better having some type of sealer even around them for the next ever how many years. We don't want this to ever be a problem again. So water line hooked up. Next thing and final thing will be the electrical. Okay guys, I want to show you what I got here for doing our splice for our electrical, okay? This is a commercial electric heavy wall heat shrink direct burial splice kit. And that's what we got. We got the direct burial wire here today. Here's what the kit comes with. It comes with a little connector here where you can actually hook up to 4 different wires. We only have 3 wire, okay? So each wire will go will be spliced here and tighten down the locking nut right here. And then it comes with some mastic that you actually wrap around here, filling in all the gaps. And the final thing is a piece of heat shrink that you will slide onto one of the wires before you start. And then we'll use a torch, or you could use a heat gun to actually shrink this around the whole connection, okay? And this is made to as a splice to be buried underground. This stuff here I like, it's really thick, okay? And we're probably going to do the same thing we're going to do on that water line as well. Even this ain't going to be good enough for me. I'm probably going to go ahead and silicone the heck out of it as well and wrap another bag around it even when I'm done. But this here, I definitely like this. Out of all the things that I look for, this looked like the best thing to make my repair with. And we'll find something, either this same thing or something very similar to it. We'll put a link down below. So let's get started. Okay, folks, we're gonna go ahead and hook this thing up. Notice I have my piece of shrink wrap already put on my wire. Don't forget that. You get all hooked up and your shrink wrap ain't there, you're gonna be mad at yourself. So anyway, let's go ahead and hook up 3 of these wires. I recommend skinning them back anywhere from 3/8 to a 1/2 inch back. So that's what we've done. And we're gonna go ahead and we'll just use these 3 right here for the ground and for our black as well. Let's go ahead and shove them all in, and I'm gonna kind of turn it to where I can see that my insulation is in there, but not too far. I don't want to be too far to where I'm shoved in there too far. I think I'm about good. Right there ought to be good. So from that point, let me tighten up one of them here. And I'll go ahead and tighten up 2. I'm gonna leave it until I get the other wire hooked up, just make sure I'm not shoved too far one way, okay? And we'll go back and double check all of them afterwards. Well, let me go and tighten this one as well. I'm going to snug it down. I won't go crazy with it yet until we get the other wire hooked up. So let's get the other one skint back and hooked up, and then we'll tighten everything down. Okay guys, we got our other wire here cut. And we actually put another piece of conduit on here. We brought it up to here, so actually only about 2 foot from our house here will be without conduit. And that's better than it was before. Let's see if we can shove this in here and make a connection. This wire that we're going back with is actually number 10. I figured the whole project was done in number 10, but I found out that this is actually number 12 right here. So we're going a little overkill, which is not a bad thing. It's better to go that way than the other way. So we're going to shove all this in here and start tightening these up, folks. Okay, with all our connections made, I'm going to go around and tighten all these up really nice. I want to snug them up really good. Make sure we got a good connection here, guys. Okay. That feels good. Go to our ground wires. Tighten them up good. Move around to our black wire. Have to twist it just a little bit to be able to get to these. We'll get these tightened down good, and then we'll go actually flip the breaker on and check real fast just to make sure everything's working. And then after that, we'll come back and do that heat shrink. Okay guys, hey, our connection's good. Well pump's filling up, so everything's looking good. Let's go ahead and get this thing. We went back and flipped the power back off this thing, and we're going to take this mastic and we are going to wrap this sucker good with this. Okay, so we'll go up in this area here really good around these ends, and we're going to keep wrapping it and utilizing, trying to get this totally covered with the 2 pieces that they give us. It might be nice if they give you an extra one. It'd be a good idea. But anyway, that goes on. It's nice and sticky. I'm going to press it around until it seals in really good. Comes with 1 more piece. Okay. Let's go ahead and wrap it right here as well in this area. I'll go ahead and pull the sticky off of it, or the piece of wax paper off if I can. Okay, there we go. All right. I'm going to wrap it on around here too. Trying to get it on the ends here to where any kind of moisture could get up in there. Okay. This is just some extra safety precaution here. Yeah, I wish they'd give you like another piece of it. It would be great. It'd be great to have a couple more pieces of it to get up in here. Let me squeeze it up in here as best I can. Okay, now from this point, what we're going to do is take our piece of heat shrink, all right, and we're going to bring it to about this point right here, okay? And let's see, let's go back just a little bit. Looks like our midpoint. This is our fitting is right here. Let's go back just a little bit this way. Put it right in the middle. So that feels like we're right in the middle right there. So let me grab my torch and we're going to start giving this thing a little bit of heat until it shrinks up around there. Okay guys, with our torch here, I'm going to give this thing a little bit of heat. I'll get down here low if I can. So she'll shrink up on there. And it looks like she is. Don't go too crazy too fast. I don't want to set it on fire. We just want it to shrink down on here and give a good watertight seal is what we're looking for. Be careful around here. We don't want to heat up our wire. We want to pretty much keep it right there on that heat shrink, and you don't want to heat up your water pipe down here either. Be a little careful around it. Okay. See if I can pull this over and do this side a little bit. Get this side to shrink up a little bit. If we can. That's a big old piece of heat shrink, I tell you what. Okay. Just trying to get it to shrink up around that wire. See, this is what I was kind of afraid of. Like, this is why I'm going to go back over top of this with silicone, okay? I'm going to squirt silicone all over this thing, wrap it in a bag. I don't ever want to have to deal with this again, okay? I do like the fact that this is a pretty thick piece of plastic here, heat shrink that's going around here. That's going to keep it from anything puncturing it like a root or anything like that. But we're gonna, yeah, that's getting kind of warm. Our torch is spitting back at us for some reason. I don't know what's going on there. Guys, I don't know if that's gonna shrink up anymore or not. I'm gonna leave it alone. I will have a fix for that tomorrow. I'm gonna cut this video tonight, but I'm just gonna let you know what I'm gonna do down in this area, okay? What I'm gonna do, I got a whole tube of silicone. I'm gonna squirt it down in here, okay? I'm gonna squirt it down in here, and then I'm gonna wrap it. I'm just gonna lather this thing with RTV, and then I'm gonna take a plastic bag or a piece of plastic, and I'm gonna wrap it around this thing, and I'm gonna like squeeze all the air out of it and make sure I got a nice, I'm gonna mummify this thing, if you will, and get this whole thing mummified, all right? Same thing down here. I'm gonna do the same thing around my hose clamps. I'm gonna mummify them as well so that water and stuff or anything else can't eat away at my clamps over the years, okay? We want this to stay just like it is. So guys, we are almost officially done with this whole project. We're gonna take you over to the tank now. We'll show you what it looks like after we flip the power back on. Okay guys, hey, we're back here. Notice I don't have my microphone on right now. Sound might not be quite as good. Our other phone actually died on us, so we're using another one right now. Bring the camera right on down here. Guys, this thing's on. It's already filled up with water. We had a little bit of a leak right here. This barb actually had a little nick in it, but I put 2 clamps on it. So far she's holding there good. We'll come in here tomorrow. I'm gonna fill this up with silicone. I'm gonna fill this up with silicone really good, and then we're gonna take spray foam and foam up this void down here really good below the concrete. And we'll put our wrap back on our pipes. We got some wrap, that just insulating wrap. We'll put that back around all this stuff. We had it around our water pipe here. We'll put it around this one as well, and then we're pretty much good to go. We're going to set the rock back on it tonight, just for tonight. But we'll be back in finishing up all that stuff tomorrow. But I'm very happy that this is working. Bring the camera down to the gauge. Notice that our gauge here, guys, we're on right now, we're about 45 pounds of pressure, okay? And that's the way this thing is set up. It will cut in at 30 and fill up and shut off at 50, okay? So it won't even cut back on till that pressure drops back down. And the pressure that's in the tank, and it's got a full tank of water now. Let's see what she feels like. See, now I can tell this thing's full of water, and before it was full of water also, but it was waterlogged. It was on the other side of the bladder, so it wasn't actually giving us any type of water capacity at all. So anyway, thanks for checking out the video today, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you later. Have a great day.